we go. Oh. Hello. Um, Surprise, we're not werewolves. If you look briefly, you will notice that there are some fantastic looking people here who do not look like they're werewolf characters. That is because Adam is having a fabulous life doing fabulous things out of town and away from his computer, which is well and good and just. However, boredom is the ultimate disease, and so we were trying to do something to help you out with that. So tonight we will be looking at the world of Werewolf the Apocalypse from somewhere different. We will be looking at them from the bad guy's perspective, specifically a Pentax first team. This is going to be a lot of fun. However, a brief warning, this is going to be packed to the motherfucking gills with body horror. So, as usual, please take care of yourselves, pay attention to how you're feeling, and if we give you too much of a good thing, it's okay. Take a break and come back later. It'll be on Twitch and probably later on YouTube. Don't worry about it. So, I am Ben. I am Ben Tells Horror Stories. I am running this impromptu session, and we are going to go with these beautiful people who will introduce themselves very briefly, and then we're going to get right into the fucking mess. So let's... Caroline, can you tell us a little bit about what the hell is going on with you today?
Yes, I'm Caroline. I am playing Agent 342, a very hangry boy. I'm so excited to be bad guys tonight, y'all. I'm so excited. Oh, I actually just noticed that Ty and Megan are swapped.
Oh, yes.
I was wondering, I'm like, why did they look weird?
That's a solvable problem, though.
Yes.
So let's ask Megan, who's in the middle. Who are you, and what are you excited about tonight?
Hello, I'm Megan. You can find me pretty much anywhere at Starweaver, or Actual Witcher on Twitter. And I am playing Crying Soul tonight, despite what the thing says. Oh no, now, yes.
Yes.
Soul tonight. And I too am excited to be a monster.
All right, and Ty.
Hello, my name is Ty. I'm also very excited to be a monster. Anytime I get to flex makeup skills, I like to do it. My character's name is Onyx, and let's see what kind of fun we get into tonight.
We're gonna have some. Characters may not have fun. Players are gonna have a blast. All right. Let's get right to it, because we've got one game to do it, and we're gonna do all of it. Kind of the stream equivalent of I bought the whole speedometer, I'm gonna use the whole fucking speedometer. Outside of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, there is a development center called RIDC Park. This is a place where there are many, many, many anonymous, blank-faced concrete and cinder block buildings that you can rent for your various businesses, manufacturing, research facilities. So in many ways, the place that Epsilon 55, this first team is driving up to, could almost be considered, if you close one eye and squint the other one, stick out your tongue, possibly the closest thing you three have to a natural habitat. So it's the absolute concrete, and because of course this is overseen by Pentax, the world's worst corporation, there's some extra spice around. For example, the blacktop has been treated with one of Endron's proprietary coatings that slowly trickles a small amount of defoliant right around the edges to make sure that there is no grass overgrowth and that all of the roads and parking lots are perfectly trimmed. Don't look up the term runoff, it'll be fine. The three of you are being delivered to site in a MRAP, a mine-resistant ambush-protected vehicle. If you watch any of the modern military stuff, these are the ones that look like a super chunky SUV with the ridiculously thick windows, except of course, Yours is matte black because fashion. In your earbuds, there is a voice of one of your, you could call them a handler, you could call them overseer, you could call them a controller. Whatever your relationship is, they're explaining to you what's happening right now. There is a genetics laboratory, a part of Magadon. They've been doing research that I actually am not clear to know what it is, which should tell you a lot. However, what I do know is that approximately 13 hours ago, which is exactly 1 hour before you were all pulled out of fucking R&R, they called in a code Icarus, which is the code word for we did so good that we caused ourselves a problem and we need you to burn us. Typically, this isn't a problem for Epsilon 55, except for reasons I currently don't know and have been expressly told while making direct eye contact to not think about or ask any questions about. Director fucking Zettler canceled the project, canceled the Code Icarus. Yes, Director Zettler, head of special operations, the top of our employee org chart. The thing, the problem thing, the guy that fires Fomori.
Oh.
Canceled a Code Icarus. He does not want the
fuck.
facility burned. He wants the data.
Damn.
Yes.
I like Code Icaruses so much.
Well, I'm sorry. Maybe you'll. I won't tell you to have a happy accident, but if something happens after you get what we need, I'm not going to be mad about it. But of course, you guys know your standard operating procedures, our expectations. Get the data, recover or render irrecoverable, depending on its size and transportability, any critical information or personnel. What you are expected to get, based off what I've been seeing, is you need to collect the facility's black box, which is the solid state drive containing all the archived footage for the security cameras, internal memos, all of that stuff. However, because of the way they've run security, there are also data cores inside the lab. So you have 3 things that you need to get. You need 1 black box and 2 data cores. That's based off what we know. However, like I said, clearly there's some people playing jiggery pokery from the top down. So keep your eyes open and your heads on a swivel. They didn't say anything about recovering personnel.
Oh.
But however, they would prefer if there are any viable samples.
Oh, we can make sure there are viable samples. You know how we listen. I come back rich with viable samples. I'm the Elon Musk of viable samples.
I cannot disagree with that statement.
I know.
However, what I can tell you is that this is a Neurodynamics Laboratories facility, which is Magadon's genetics subsidiary. So, good news, don't expect diseases. Bad news, expect anything you could imagine a Magadon subsidiary doing with DNA. Don't get stung or bitten or injected or vistapored or any other intrusive verb, please.
Deal.
$55, I wish I could give you more information, but as I've made clear a couple times, there's people that have a higher security clearance and pay grade than me that are making decisions that I just have to enact. So I'd like to see you all come back, and I'd like to send you right back to vacation. Maybe a longer vacation.
Yeah.
See what I can do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
I was not done with that vinegar bath.
I didn't interrupt you with any amount of joy, let me tell you. All right. So before we get lost in too much bitching, let's go. The MRAP pulls up about a couple of 100 yards away from the small facility. You are given some shots with the cameras that are mounted on the vehicle before you guys ambulate out. It has a fence, and it is a nice nondescript slope side faux concrete buttress. It's a blank faceless lab. You've been in about 100 of these. Approximately 99 of them were not intact when you left, because Recon and Recovery almost never refers to personnel. You've got to be really, really important for Pentax to decide to actually come get you intact. All right, so what we do know is, let's get super started. On the outside, there is subsonic flechette turrets. Now, they're wired into the system, so they should be hackable. But that's the first thing you're going to want to deal with. After that, it's getting in the door and finding out whatever the hell is inside that facility. So, good luck. I wish you well. I wish the triad go with you, and I hope that everything comes up aces. And the driver, who essentially looks like the Stig from that show, except in all black, parks, puts it in park, hits the buttons, the very cool heavy hydraulic rear ramp opens with a whisper of super smooth hydraulics, and it is time to do your thing, Epsilon 55. So as we come out, and as all three of you kind of walk in front of the camera, getting ready to go into it, let's describe ourselves a little bit. As we have done a fantastic job with makeup, what else are we seeing? Who wants to go?
I'll go first. Fuck it.
Go for it.
Agent 342 gets up and is quadrupedal mostly until the ramp downwards, where it is slightly more graceful to be bipedal. They have long, sharp teeth and long claws that they have, of course, always painted oxblood, because we are, if nothing, fashionable. Green and black spines across their body. They look vaguely feminine, but with Fomori, it's hard to tell. Lots of release straps on this body armor that they're wearing, that they have made colorful in weird ways. They exude just, I wish a motherfucker would. And also, I should have been fed exactly 27.36 minutes ago. I'm going to bite someone's head off, perhaps literally.
All right. Crying Soul, who are you?
Yes. So as I step off, I'm sort of moving languidly, as black tar just sort of oozes on my skin at all times, just slowly sort of dripping, as well as my eyes that are just completely black and slightly bulging are just weeping this black fluid as I walk around with, I think for flavor, one of my ectoplasmic protrusions are just like sort of wrapped around me. And I'm just wearing this like sort of light black body armor as I walk down with my white hair that should not be there considering the amount of tar that is just dripping from my body at all times. And I just gracefully and languidly walk off, excited to cause some fucking trouble.
And Onyx, what are you and what is your vibe?
Well, what am I? Great question. Let me just well, the vibe you get is, aside from the white hair, they are very almost like smoky tendrils of clothing. It might be clothing, it might not be, who knows. They have wings, of course, and sharp claws, talons. Where their eyes and their mouth should be, there's kind of just gaping holes that blood seeps out of. It is a constant thing. And they appear to almost not even be walking, sort of just floating. Probably also at like a slower speed.
Project Odyssey does good work.
Mm.
Indeed, they do.
So you've got it's a classic fence. It's like 12 feet tall. It's got razor wire on top. You guys are entirely convinced there's probably some sort of a neurotoxin on top of there. They're going to be classical. You can see, because you know they're there. This is not your first rodeo. The gentle bulges in the landscaping where the little turrets would flip up out of the ground and turn your internals into externals below the speed of sound so that there is no snap bang. Who wants to address that problem? This is not the big part of it. We're just setting some scene here.
I would love a problem.
Okay. How do you want to do it?
I feel like, since you say that this is not our first time, and knowing that I am quite tech savvy, would I know a way to dispense with these or sort of shut them down? Or am I going to have to remove them myself?
You know that you can send them a little IFF, identify friend from foe scramble, that will stun them long enough for someone, I don't know who, to open the fence and for you to then overcome them. Like, this is just, yeah.
Excellent. Okay.
I will gladly open that fence.
Yes.
That is what I will do. I will move towards my task and just say, looks like somebody's going to get to use their muscle.
Oh.
Someone gets to use their big boy biceps.
Good. Good. I eat a lot of protein, a lot of meat with 2 E's. These guns are loaded.
Wow. Okay. So a little bit of hacking, a little bit of intrusion, a little bit of spam later. And a little bit of deltoid work.
Yeah, lots of shoulder work. Just okay, go.
Yes. Now you're at the door. So now is when we're going to start getting interesting. It's a keypad. It's got a swipe card. Easily overcome. How about you roll, just because dice are sometimes fun, whatever it is, wits plus technology.
Let me get to my stuff. And it
You should be
has...
rolling like...
Okay. That's, ooh. There we go. Let me get my stuff figured out here. There we go. Oh yeah, lots of dice.
Y'all are good at what you do. Yeah, these are veteran Fomori. Just so you know, these are not 753 1395 starting characters.
And we are, as they say, broken as fuck.
I mean, what's the success threshold?
6 unless I say otherwise.
Okay, perfect. Cool. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then is there a crit capability? With like a 10? Or no?
There should be. I forgot to put those on the sheets because I made them like today. But how many did you get?
So I got 4 successes and then 1 was a 10.
Either way, it's more than enough. So, Crying Soul, do you use your lockfucker?
My lockfucker?
Please say yes. It's such a fun thing.
Yes. Yes.
That's what it's for. It's fucking lock.
So it's a little like gray-black plastic case that just kind of goes over the entire keypad. And you hit it with a couple of bolt screws and plug some things in, and it just makes these awful, like, electrical crackly plastic but also somehow fucky noises. It's awful. It's worm tech. It's evil. There's probably a bane in it, but after a minute it falls off the very open and very overcome keypad with a unpleasantly post-coital thud. If a small piece of extruded plastic can have a post-coital thud, and the door is wide open.
Excellent. Now, I will gesture for my companions after you.
All right.
Onyx, without even having to stretch your senses at all, you can already feel that the vibe in this place is wild. Not W-Y-L-D, but wild. Like, bad things happened here, and by bad things, I mean on the scale that a first team uses for good v bad, it is actually on the bad side.
Can I do the actual sense to get a better idea?
Totally.
And if you do not mind, could you roll for me?
Yeah, sure. Do you know how many dice it is?
It is
116, because I am.
Yeah, well, we're not playing side here. Calm down.
It is roll perception, occult, difficulty 6, an additional roll of intelligence, and enigmas may be required to identify the species. Range is 20 yards.
So perception plus occult.
Yeah.
And how many thousands of dice is that?
Where does it say that?
Perception will be on the attributes section of your sheet, and then occult will be in the section below that.
Oh,
so it's at the top.
I pulled up my actual
top half, top third.
I'm a fool.
It's okay. I found it, and you're rolling 10 dice. You'll pull it up while I roll.
Hell yeah! Woo! That quasi deity.
Yes. For those of you playing the home game, Onyx is a product of Project Odyssey, which is Pentax's what do you do when you have too many psychics program? And the answer is then stuff them full of additional horror and see if they work.
Put more psychics in it.
Yes. Yeah, you got your possession in my psychic. You got your psychic in my possession. Hey. And they are highly effective with 7 fucking successes on that roll. So
they're like a Reese's peanut butter cup, but eldritch horror.
What?
Yes.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing, dear.
Yes.
I trust you.
There there is a like there was a betrayal. There was a betrayal like so significant and also so thorough in this lab very recently that the spiritual presence of the lab has been affected by it. Like every single living creature that had a mind in this lab was betrayed at the same time. And not like you fucked my partner, but like at two brute levels of betrayal. And it was so consistent and so immediate that the reflections of this in the pieces of the Umbra that you can see are noticeable.
Okay, I'm not muted. Good. I relay that information. It stinks of betrayal in here. Very large scale.
I think some dogs tried to get in here and infiltrate.
Did I smell any werewolf?
No.
Hmm.
Weirdly, no. It for very much so the spirit realm, however your character considers the Umbra, seems to be generally undisturbed in that way. Like this is the normal miasma of fear and terror and corruption that is supposed to be here. And normally when the lycanthropes attack a facility, they also do what you would interpret as spiritual damage by killing the local spirit population and other things like that. So that hasn't happened here.
So it was human.
It wasn't werewolves.
Wasn't werewolves.
With 7 successes, can I pinpoint it? The species?
I'm thinking of the words to give you a good answer. It's less of a there isn't really evidence of an attack. Like the tiny little undefinably tiny banes that are around and the tiny little corrupted weaver spirits and all the little tiny little critters that are bopping around in the spirit realm seem to be agitated, but not agitated in the way the spirits act when something that isn't supposed to be there has been there. They're agitated like they've been disrupted. So imagine an anthill, the difference between like somebody accidentally running over it with a lawnmower and everyone's going like, holy shit, what the fuck is going on? We got to recover from this, as opposed to somebody pouring kerosene down it and lighting it on fire.
Oh.
It sounds like it's our own.
Yeah,
Our
it does feel a little internal. Yeah. Because normally when it's, the nature freaks, usually the little banes and everybody get real upset real quick.
We need to find that black box.
Yeah, we do.
We really super do.
We really do, because if one of those motherfuckers watched Ferngully again, I swear. They get bad ideas when they watch that stupid movie.
Ferngully and Princess Mononoke are the top 2 things on Pentax's banned media list.
Don't know who's
the third is only listed as Blue Pocahontas.
Oh my god.
Wow. Going through the area. Go.
Oh no. I was just going what you're probably going to say. Or I was going to
say
ask,
something like we go further.
I was going to ask about what you're probably going to say. I would like to look for
Yes.
We're going to get there in just a minute. We've got a couple of places to go. You guys came in through what is essentially the side door to the offices. So you didn't go through like the 2 front double doors that, heaven forbid, we actually got a visitor. This is what could be considered the employee entrance. So you guys walk right into the cubicle hell that is a Pentax admin office. Yeah.
You can smell
all of the
desperation. It's delicious.
God, I love that
Yes.
smell.
All the computers that you can see, all of the workstations, all of the TELUS brand workstations, all have like the scrolling red and black Evangelion alert style scroll that says, everything is fine. Please remain at your station. If you remain at your station, we can find you. With a little bit of maybe what could be considered like a what's the thing where subliminal, where there's a little bit of like a subliminal flicker in there. I mean, this is pretty normal.
Yeah.
So, I mean, good news is whoever called the code Icarus actually seemed to have instituted the internal Icarus protocols. Yay.
Yay.
Yeah.
All right.
So there are several computer stations that serve no narrative purpose. However, you can kind of find what you could consider like the supervisor stations. And this one says purchasing. And all three of you know that sometimes you can get a pretty interesting story looking through some POs.
Yeah.
Think it's
Your
time
lock fucker unlock computers?
The lock fucker will fuck anything.
Let's fuck some locks.
It is a omnisexual mechanical worm spirit that loves everything.
Let us lock fuck.
Yes. It does the thing. Everybody has a good time. Cigarettes are passed out. The purchasing office does open, and there is a smell in here that all of you recognize, that all of you loathe. There's a kind of Fomori called a toad, which essentially, to a man Jack, look like the slightly corpulent, overly sweaty middle managers. Like the ones that are overweight, that the shirt's a little bit too small, they're always a little bit sweaty, like somehow they've got sweat rings in their armpits at 8 a.m. when they clock in. Like that's a Fomori breed in this. So
and they have no sense of personal space, and they're just like, hey Cheryl.
Yes.
Coffee.
You look great today while never looking above your chin. Yes. We have all met.
It's because they are belly button height.
Oh my god.
I know this man.
Yeah. However, good news is toads love blackmail, and toads love covering their asses, which means that somewhere on their computer there should be a shockingly well-compiled list of things I can use to get myself out of trouble.
Like the fat man himself, I will check this list and check it twice.
Okay. You find...
Never not gotten coal. Don't know why.
It's weird. I don't know. I mean, like, would Pentax kids get coal as their reward?
I would think so. I mean,
actually, yeah, there was one time when I got a pink Barbie Corvette. I was pretty salty about that.
Are these human references?
No. So there is a dated list. So some of the things is a preponderance of medical equipment. Lots of it has words like gene sequencing and immunotherapy and other scientific jargon. There is a uncomfortable amount of POs that also were filled for organ storage and organ transplant. Like cold rooms, transportation cases, I'm a machinist. I'm not a doctor. I could not tell you all of the accoutrement that like bulk organ removal and storage
Just
comes
lots
with,
of bags
but it's
of
all
ice
there.
and dry ice.
Yes. An amount of corticosteroids and immunosuppressant that probably could be measured in gallons.
Well.
And then lately, a bunch of monoclonal antibodies, which is another immune system manipulation tool. And so much ketamine and so much fentanyl. So much.
No, Agent, you don't have time to go down a K-hole.
Not today. Not right now.
Not today. Not today. Tomorrow.
Yes. Just make a note for vacation, like more ketamine.
Yeah, always more ketamine. Put this kitty cat in a K-hole. We've got immunosuppressants. We have organ storage. We have 2 different tranquilizers, right?
Tranquilizers, sedatives, pain management, like that. They hit all the high points.
We were told that there's nothing infectious.
Yeah.
So it's got to be for organ transplants, but which organs?
I don't know. Whatever they are, they need more than 2 of them.
People don't usually have more than 2 kidneys, right?
No, typically not.
Yeah.
Like, the number,
some people do have the 3, but
the amount of organ storage and transport equipment that is here is on industrial scale. Like, we're talking that if they have all of the things that this list looks like it have, they could transport safely under correct medical conditions upwards of 50 separate organs.
They're doing some harvesting. They are doing harvesting. I think they're doing harvesting.
Okay.
Now, it's a 50-50 chance that I'm wrong, because they're either putting stuff in or they're taking stuff out. But no, they would be putting stuff in. They're continually putting new different stuff in.
They not be doing both?
They could be doing both.
No, every organ's got to come out of somewhere and go into somewhere else.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're trying to mix.
Yeah, it's like they've taken 3 jigsaw puzzles and put them in one box and just kind of shook them up.
All right.
Let's keep going. I don't know if we're gonna get any more from this Toad's office. Besides, he smells like this whole place just reeks of pond scum.
It does.
It does.
Yeah. If algae could get BO,
ugh.
This is that smell.
I find that toads often smell warm ham the worst possible way.
Oh, don't ruin ham like that for me.
I'm glad to see you guys committing to the genre. Okay. Now, as I've described before, like most of the overhead lights are off. There's a couple of emergency lights in the corners. All of the computers have that like scrolling red text. It's a little flickery with some subliminals. Going down the hallway, and it's very much, you've got the pod of offices, and you've got a hallway where the cooler and more important people get their own separate offices, and that's kind of where you're entering to. One of the rooms actually has a very soft glow coming from it, kind of like a different, like it's got that LED computer glow, but it's not the same flickering red. It's like a really gentle kind of like oceanic blue.
Yeah. We're going there.
It is possibly the most terrifying room in this entire building. It's the meeting room. a beautiful faux hardwood table, chairs. It's all of the luxury that you would come to expect from the place where they give presentations. And still lit and still on is what looks like a unfinished presentation of a PowerPoint. There's a projector. It's a PowerPoint projector, and it's lacking a lot of the graphics, and it doesn't have all of the information. But the initial "this is the beginning of my presentation" slide is up, and it's called "From Antagonist to Asset: The Commercialization of Lycanthropes."
Lichen what?
Lycanthropes.
Lycanthropes.
Oh.
It's another term for werewolves. It's what Pentax prefers to call them.
Yes.
You get that little bit of scientific buffer to make the idea less scary.
Are they suggesting here that they're gonna breed their own dogs?
Oh my god.
They're easily
Handler
weaponized.
man, I hope you're listening. You owe me filet mignon and not any of that fake meat shit. I'm on a carnivorous diet when we get out of here.
I want meat with an A, by God.
I want meat with an A, and not just meat with an A. If a skilled vet could not save that goddamn steak, I don't want it.
Okay. Okay. Good news. The next door down, or the next door that matters, I mean, like, there's a bathroom and a break room, and there's nothing surprising in any of them. The next one that's significant is the director's office. And the director's name is Dr. Claudia Albright, which has no relevance. It's just her name.
Okay. I'm like, I don't know if I trust that name, just on principle.
No, you should never trust anyone I give two names to.
Yeah. All right, Claudia, what do you got for us here?
Onyx, are you sensing anything additional the deeper we get?
Am I?
There is an accumulate. Flavor this however you want, the way Onyx wants to describe it. Ben will tell Ty that there is a accumulation of spiritual energy in this room. You wouldn't probably use the word gnosis as your character, but the concept of like gnosis has been used in this area is going to come to you. It's like you get that psychic after vibe of heavy working, however you want to filter that through your own perceptions.
There is the stench of the spirit realm. Energy is soaked into every inch of this room.
I mean, I would expect a director of a facility to not be just another regular normie, but to be tapped into the spirit world.
And
that might be something special.
Say that again, please.
And of that magnitude.
Yeah.
Impressive.
Can we look at her computer?
Yeah, let's see if we've got any files here, digital or physical. You never know. Sometimes they like to have them on paper.
The door is not just locked. I mean, this doesn't even take the lock fucker. This is just Crying Soul's basic skills with the lockpick for this lock. Well, sometimes you create layers of non-electronic security so that somebody can't hack the whole fucking place.
That's
cough,
fair.
Cough, glasswalkers, cough, cough. However, you pop the lock and that's fine, and there's a deadbolt, and that takes a little bit more work because there's more work on the, more pressure on the keys, da-da-da-da-da. But then it doesn't open in a way that, like, it's blocked. like physically blocked.
Great. I would like to transform and rip the door off the hinges.
Go for it.
Bring your lovely little monster.
Okay. Would you like me to roll to shift?
Just roll. Yeah, make your shifting roll. It should be in the power description on the.
Yeah, let me just
on
make
the
sure
weird
here. Dex Primal Urge. Okay. Primal Urge. All right. Five successes on shifting.
It is a perfect, flawless, nigh instantaneous transformation. If Agent 342 ever wanted to make a highlight reel, this transformation would be the one on the highlight reel. Is anybody watching? Because I will not be doing that again.
I know. I do look around to make sure both mates are watching. Yes. Oh, beautiful. All right, and then I am going to rip the door off of its hinges. Let's see, that'll be...
Unless you want to roll dice for your own satisfaction, it's not a challenge to a transformed 342.
Yeah, I know. I mean, 5 dice alone, just on strength alone. I don't need to roll.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Claws go in, door comes out.
Whether I assume that the door swings in, but not anymore. It swings out now.
Yeah. It's more of a drawbridge at this point, really.
Yeah.
Weirdly enough, the thing that was blocking the door was legitimately like an office chair. Like someone took the chair and stuck it under the doorknob. In the most like old school. Yeah. And the vibe is a little weird in here. It feels a little dry. Maybe even a little dusty.
Like someone hasn't been in a while?
No, like it's cleaned more than it's lived in. Like, have you ever gone into a space that's been very thoroughly cleaned, but no one's been in it for a while? So it gets that, like, there's nothing in it and then nothing has replaced it vibe. It's that, kind of. But there's also, like, a little houseplant in the corner. And what was clearly a cup of coffee with a picture-perfect lower lip transfer of a very dark, like, red-purple lipstick on it.
I would like to look for an escape route that isn't the blocked door.
There is not an escape route. However, there is a camera up in the corner that your investigation finds. And there is also I'm inclined to call it a trapdoor because it's not a full-sized get a person out door. It's like a little cubby door, which looks exactly like where someone would keep, I don't know, a black box.
Yep.
And maybe
you also have a desktop computer to interact with.
Oh yeah.
So the 3 pieces of data you have to work with is that there was a camera probably on when whatever happened in here happened. There is a desktop computer to investigate, and then there's the black box to poke around with.
We got to find a security room because we'll have where we can get the feed for that camera.
There's nobody in here though?
There was not anybody in here. It's a locked door. It's a locked room mystery.
Locked room mystery. The answer is they committed suicide.
But is there nobody?
No, answer is I bet it's a leech. I'm just gonna say that my aluminum foil on my head. I bet it's a leech.
I feel like that would explain the dryness. I feel like it's very dry. Well, I'm going to go mess around with that computer. Somebody want to grab the box?
I will grab the box, or give Onyx a leg up to grab the box.
Oh, the
Oh, it's not high up. Okay.
No, yeah, it's absolutely where a human-sized, human-shaped person would walk up to something, comfortably open it, and interact with the things in it.
Then yeah, absolutely.
Onyx, as soon as 342 opens the door, the spiritual presence in here actualizes.
What do you mean actualizes?
It goes from a threat to a thing. And no one has a problem with spiders, right? Okay.
Agreed.
I had a moment of terror that I neglected to read a line. And too many spiders come pouring out of the darkness around the black box. It is using the Gully Dwarf counting system of one too many lots. It is way high in the lots category. Yes. And these spiders are clearly supernatural. They are not even twisted monster freak spiders. They are spiders made of shadow and crystal and wire and webbing and metal and other things just pouring out of this little cubby hole. 10, 15, 20 times the volume of what should fit in there. So we're not going to chuck all of the dice in this moment. I'm going to ask each of you what thing you're going to do to help resolve this spider problem, and then we'll roll those dice and see how they go. Onyx, I want you to give us some ideas first.
Sorry, I couldn't unmute.
These are absolutely spirits or spiritual critters, so
that's what I was thinking. Where is it? Spirit ties.
That is your Gnosis score.
Oh, okay. I don't know how to read this.
It's okay.
Well,
we'll figure it out together.
Spirit ties is in powers.
Yes.
That's for the twisted senses thing.
Oh, okay, I see. All right. Sorry, it's hard to see.
It's okay.
I don't know if I can really do anything. I guess I can. Can I use the beautiful eye thing? I don't know if that works on them or if it has to be.
Why not? You're using weird, spooky, supernatural, spiritual headfuckery. Why shouldn't weird, spooky, supernatural creatures be susceptible to that wavelength of headfuckery? I don't have any problem with it, and it's fun.
Okay, so
you want to roll manipulation plus empathy.
I cannot roll. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
My manipulation is 5, and empathy is 3.
Okay, so 8 dice. And the difficulty on these little critters is their willpower for this power that I made up today. So I'm also a grown-up who can count. There we go, 8. There's one person in chat who's like, what the fuck?
Actually, Apacho just said pattern spiders, and it's like, fucking, I hope not, but yeah, it's sounding like that explains it. They're not a leech. their fucking spider.
Well,
fuck spiders.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 successes. Apparently my dice love you guys tonight. So yes, we will describe that in a minute. Let's see what the other two do so we can turn this all into a fantastic montage of victory. So who has an idea about what they want to do in addition?
I have an idea. It's nothing special. I really am going to start just stomping and chomping. If they're physical enough, I'm just going to start smashing and eating these spiders because fuck it, they might have protein.
Okay. They're a little fiberglassy, but I mean, it's texturally satisfying.
Itchy.
Yeah. It's an experience.
Itchy snacks.
So roll, I don't know,
I
Dex
love it
plus
when my
brawl.
stomach itches.
Yeah. Well, now you've got some extra oomph for a later power.
Oh my god. I love it. Eat those.
Okay. So roll Dex plus brawl while Crying Soul tells us what they're going to do.
I am going to whip out a tendril. One of my extrusions.
Yes, ectoplasmic extrusions.
And I am going to flop my ectoplasmic extrusion and just swing it around and try to smash some crunchy spiders.
All right. So how about you also roll Dex plus brawl? Or I will roll Dex plus brawl for you, I think.
Yes, that would probably be easier. I thought about rolling dice and then I was like, I have black all over my hands.
It's fine. Doesn't bother me at all. You do okay. You get 3 successes.
I got 5 successes on my stompies.
Okay. So, this is a blur of very close quarters frenetic activity. There are black tarry tentacles whipping around, grabbing spiders, pulling them apart, sharpening into spikes and like puncturing into the walls. Agent 342 is just going cruncha-muncha. If they're not underfoot, they're in the mouth. There's lots of like grab onto the carapace and pull for the good like dejointing feel. Yeah, because disarticulation has a good mouth feel.
It's just like crab. It's like eating crab.
In many ways, yeah. However, Onyx not only did a cool thing, but had the most successes. So Onyx, what you've actually managed to do is you've managed to warp some of these creatures' perspectives to the point where, because they're spirits, they are creatures of kind of thought and self-being. So you actually managed to make a couple dissipate just by purely making them forget that they were there.
I had actually an idea, if I could.
Yeah, go for it.
I wanted to, at least the way that this is described on your sheet that you gave, if I am able to do with the spiders by kind of trapping them in an alternate headspace, could I like pretend to have their master summon them away?
Your objective is to have them go somewhere else?
Mm-hmm. Well, just
sure.
away. To their master.
Just away. Okay. Yeah, that's you got 7 successes on like terrible mutant monster psychic power. You can accomplish a fuckload. So yeah, you can flavor it that way.
I would like to.
Okay. And yeah, that's lovely. So you're not entirely certain what these weird spirit creatures with their own very non-standard mind see. But whatever you trick them into thinking you are, you know that you have more legs than you normally do. You know that you're bigger than you normally are. And you know that what they are seeing is something that is far more rigid than onyx. You can kind of almost feel the thing that you are kind of pretending to be. And many of the spiders happily just go, "Oh, okay," and then leave. Kind of crawling back into the umbra, leaving little trickly like PCB board cobwebs behind them. Except for the ones that you two destroyed, and they just kind of melt in the traditional like spirit, dissolving to ectoplasm and oobleck and then fading.
I have no like inkling of what their master could be.
These spirits are, you would call them like stasis spirits or pattern spirits. These are spirits whose objective is to keep the world in one way. So they're often prevalent where there is a lot of technology, but usually the spiritual presence and power of what you are and what the things you serve are usually tends to push a majority of them away or suborn them to Pentax's will. So your best quick guess, we could spend a half an hour on this if we weren't one-shotting. Your best quick guess is that you were either presenting as a larger version of whatever those spider spirits were, or presenting yourself as a creature of stasis and a creature of order in such a way that they believed you to be in charge of them. So do you know what shape you took? Not particularly, but you know the aura of what you tricked them into thinking you were.
Interesting.
And it is not your spiritual home base either. However, the skilled Epsilon 55, shocking no one, handily handles this challenge, and now in front of you is a beautiful little black box, and it's totally like a little science fiction-y because it's got screw, turn the handle, flick the switch, pull it out, and it makes the good sound of pulling it out of the coolant case. Yeah.
Well, that goes in a fanny pack.
Yes. Okay, and now we want to look at the computer, Crying Soul, I think.
Yes.
Okay. You could go through this for a while. We're not going to. So I'll give you the high points. First thing that goes out is the last email that went out before the encrypted Code Icarus alert message. This was an email announcement. It was to all local users. So it was a building-wide announcement, and it's very corporate speak, but it was exactly 12 hours before the Code Icarus code. And it's a bunch of corporate speak stuff like all hands on deck, crunch time. We're getting interest from the highest possible parties, and they want marketing samples on a brisker timeline than we were expecting. So, based off the way she described it, people were working 12-hour rotating shifts. Yeah. Welcome to corporate hell, literally. They were working 12-hour rotating shifts. It's going to get even worse when you see the dorms. You're going to cry for these people a little bit because they're awful. So they were originally working 12s, and now it looks like they're now going to be working 18s. However, good news, there is a plethora of uppers available in the cafeteria. So the Pentax analog for monster is available by the literal case. There is enough Adderall and Adderall-like substances to keep an entire college campus awake, active, and passing their finals. And there is also a smaller but significant supply of downers. So when you get your whole 6 hours of sleep time, they want you to be asleep for 5 hours and 59 minutes of it. So this place was going to go on a upper downer crunch time, darkest timeline corporate development binge. Except exactly 12 hours after that was sent, the Code Icarus was called. Which is Virt. However, one of the other things you do is there is a video file boop, that is labeled. It's sitting in the middle of the desktop. It's very incongruous, and it's labeled "Saved you the time." .mp4.
Press play.
Yes, let's watch this video.
Grab the popcorn.
It shows, okay, if you could imagine like a girl boss elemental, this is what you see on the screen. It's the power suit. All the lines are perfect. The hair is perfect. The makeup is perfect. It is corporate Valkyrie, like just murder in a pencil skirt and suit jacket.
The shoulder pads are sharp enough to kill a man.
Yeah, like this is, and it is like so crisp. Yeah. And so it shows them sitting down at the computer, and the timestamp up there, like it's 15 seconds before the Code Icarus sits down at the computer, reaches out with like a $700 fancy fountain pen and does the tap, 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 tap with a flourish. The Code Icarus time is on there. You guys recognize it from your thing. So she activates the Code Icarus, sits back, picks up the mug that is sitting on the desk right there, takes a sip like she's super calm, super cool and collected, even though she did literally just call for a self-destruct sequence to be lit, smiles right at the camera, gives you a great big grin, and then explodes into tens of thousands of spiders.
I told you she was a spider.
A equal volume to an adult human's worth of spiders. Like melts out of her skin. And then very slowly, very meticulously, one by one, they climb into the telephone.
Yeah. Oh. Oh. God. Stupid ferrets. Fucking spiders. God damn it. Fuck. God. Oh. Oh.
Yarp.
Fucking Weaver bullshit. Goddamn. Fuck.
Yep.
See, I told you she was a spider.
This is why the worm can't have nice things.
Which is like a leech, but with extra legs.
Yeah.
So very many extra steps.
Yeah. Leech with extra credit.
Well, the sense of betrayal makes sense now.
Yes, it very much so does.
Yes.
So, it's very curious. So you're going to be very curious to find out what the fuck is in the lab that
That's
Miss Albright
why
made happen. and then wanted to go away.
That's why it was canceled too.
However, she didn't seem like she made a mistake.
No, she did not. No.
Absolutely. She called this on purpose. So, I will bet you that whatever blackmail that toad was helping out with, this fucking spider thought it up. Because toads are stupid.
They are.
Well, guess it's lab time.
It's super duper lab time. I can't wait for this part. All right. This is when it's going to get bad.
Yeah, swiping some of those uppers on the way we go and just chug one because why not? I'm too sober for this.
Literally.
Those fiberglass spiders we're not filling.
Okay. The second circle of hell is called long-term employee habitation. It says so right on the little brass plaque next to the safety doors. Now this does have a there's a little bit of a decontamination of like a safety procedure. It's not like full decontamination scrub down. It's the like sealed doors with a wash station in between the areas, and there's some UV lights for killing things. For those of you playing at home, specifically at least one person that I know on the chat, this is a biosafety 2. So from offices to the dormitories is a biosafety 2, which is generally like toxic but non-radioactive things and some infectious diseases. So it makes sense for this to be the level of buffer that is between admin and dormitories.
I pointedly do not do any of the washing. I just walk straight through.
Oh yeah.
Like, do they like pick their nose and like deliberately rub a booger on like the cleanup poster? Like
I sneeze and a couple of quills just go flying.
Yeah.
There is absolutely no way that I could get any cleaner than I already am, considering I'm coated in tar.
Yeah.
More just comes out of me.
Your idea of a bath is literally just visiting La Brea and dipping yourself in that hot, fresh asphalt.
I love it.
I love it so much. Okay. Welcome to Dormitory Hell. This is probably one of the very first times in your life, Epsilon 55, that your first team dormitory looks luxurious. I don't mean the vacation resort. I mean the ones that you guys live in, like, on the facility.
Our pod hotels with extra steps.
Yes.
Oh.
Because, okay, there are a total of 6 sleeping rooms. 4 of them are two bed sleeping rooms. 2 of them are 1 bed sleeping rooms.
Wow.
Okay. Each one of them has either 6 or 3 names on it with a time.
Oh man, so there's not even a way to get around of like making the rooms reek of fuck. There's not even a way to get around that. Oh my god, that's terrible. Because like if you could fuck in there, like I get it. But man.
No, these are hot bunking. So there is a person sleeping in the bed for 8 hours. They get out of bed, someone else gets in the bed and sleeps for 8 hours.
Oh my god.
It is intense and does a lot of damage to your headspace.
Welcome to Pentax. You're here for life. We don't offer retirement because you won't need one.
Yes. You don't retire from us, we retire you. However, good news, everyone. There's an arcade.
Hey!
They pull you in. Yeah. Of course, every single thing here is 100% Tellus, which is Pentex's multimedia video game subsidiary, with their absolutely not Call of Duty called Biological Warfare. Their
Rude.
They're ridiculously fantastic MMO, Eden Online, which is literally a doctoral thesis on addiction.
Yep.
And in the corner, because things amuse me, a vintage pinball machine.
Is it X-Men pinball?
No, it's worse. It is a vintage Endron Oil Company pinball machine from the 70s. It's called Prospectin, an apostrophe. And it is literally like the ping pong ball is the prospector, and you're looking for uranium and crude oil and like a
when you
couple
win,
other
it plays Uranium Fever. Uranium Fever.
Yeah, it kind of does. And like one of the things that you hit is like a little oil pump, and like it bubbles like faux oil up through like a little glass bubble bead. It is literally a like oil well video game, like oil well pinball machine.
It's got uranium glass on it just for the ambient poisoning.
Yeah. So that's cute.
Why is this charming?
Because that's how they get you.
All right.
So there is no evidence that anyone was in the dorm when shit went down. So that makes sense. The director did do that, put out that all hands on deck email.
Yeah.
So it stands to chance that probably everybody was there.
And we have not seen any bodies, right? Like
that is correct.
No bodies. Okay.
None.
Yeah, none.
That was not an oversight. Okay.
A little frustrated.
We've got one more piece of corporate hell. Yes. Well, good news, everyone. The next thing is the cafeteria.
Yeah.
And then we're going to get into the body horror and the dice rolling and the combat after that.
Yes.
I just had fun designing a facility of terror. I'm sorry. This was my day.
Don't apologize. This is fantastic.
The cafeteria is a faux. Does everyone know what an automat is? The thing where they had all of the doors with the different food in it, and you put some coins in, and then the door opened. You could like pull a sandwich out.
Mm-hmm.
It is set up like a faux automat, except every employee has their own little door with a little punch card.
Oh, it's rat feeding cubicles.
Yes. Okay. We will have an amount of brevity. Terrifyingly to the players, entertainingly to the characters, the pharmacy is directly next to the cafeteria.
Good.
Beautiful.
They are both automated. So these are every single industrial food machine supposed to make you never want to eat it again video, it's that in the back of this. So it's just extrusions and pastes and frozen blobs of dough like getting steam cooked.
Corpse starch.
Yes.
To borrow from Warhammer.
Oh yeah, this is totally corpse starch.
Corpse starch and mechanically separated chicken.
Mm-hmm. This is, and you hate it because this is also the same MEET they give you guys.
Yeah.
Meat.
Ugh.
This is why I don't like eating food.
Yes.
I prefer brains. Fresh, actually.
You know, I would love some fresh brains. I always give you first dibs because it's just polite, but like, even bologna.
There are no bodies around.
Like even bologna would be good. I would I just like a tube of it, or like a cold can of Spam would be preferable to this, because at least Spam was an animal once.
Are we
the terrible potted meat?
Yeah, the shape-shifting horror monster like is daydreaming of Masubi.
Oh, listen, I out of character daydream of Masubi. It's so good. But like,
really good.
Give me a little tiny cold can of potted meat, and it's better than that, as long as it's got an A in it.
Yeah. Okay. The pharmacy contains as many chemicals as you could imagine a pharmacy in a place like this would have. However, what you do realize is that the pharmacy also is like the nutrition center. So there's little extruders, and everybody gets their own nutrition profile, and a lot of that comes from the automated, soulless, faceless, non-negotiable pharmacy. And it looks like starting about 5 days before the code Icarus, the micronutrient count has been being reduced. And there have been microdoses of ketamine and corticosteroids in their food.
They harvested their own workers.
They harvested their own employees' organs.
That's the sense.
They were swapping them out like it's a tea party.
Oh my god.
Oh. Sick.
Oh.
Yeah, but is it like sick or sick? You know, that's the question. That's always the problem with horror games.
Why?
Yeah.
I suppose.
That's a good question. What the fuck is the right way to feel? The other thing that I neglected to mention, because my notes were not in order, is that there are no mirrors anywhere in the dormitories.
Oh.
The only things available are cameras that project onto a matte surface.
So they couldn't see what they really looked like.
Yes, and there's also no reflective surfaces. For lycanthropes.
For lycanthropes, I was going to say to slip in and out. It's like that spray shit that you have.
Tarnish.
Crying Soul. That Onyx hates so much.
Oh.
Yeah.
Now hear me out. With that PowerPoint. Now hear me out. This is going to sound weird, but a lot of what I say does. With my aluminum foil stocks. What if what they were doing, the organs they were swapping in and out, were from werewolves? What if they were trying to manufacture werewolves?
Well, they were trying to change.
I mean, they were trying to manufacture werewolves. That's the whole presentation. But like, what if they were doing it? The test subjects
were the employees.
I'm just saying.
That is possible. But
There's a reason why I'm 342. And it's not because the numbers are pretty. I'm just saying.
Good question.
Then what were the employees doing themselves?
Well, you can go to the lab and find out.
Let's go to the lab and find out.
Now we're going to get into the actual body horror. So, the lab. This is a biosafety level 4 gate. So it's the Pentax version. So, you know, there's also a spiritual component. So in addition to all of the antiviral, anti-infection, anti-toxicity, and everything else, there's also like runes on the floor built into in the concrete. They're very subtle, that are there to keep spiritual things in and out. A few other things. You imagine, Onyx, you imagine that attempting to cross this barrier through the spirit realm is, if not immediately terminal, at the very most a one-way trip. So the good news is that probably whatever's in here is still in here.
Mm-hmm.
Bad news is whatever's in here is still in here, of course. So.
Well, this is what we were here for.
Yep. So, the challenge of opening the doors is one that you will overcome.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll get to the fun stuff. So, Crying Soul. Crying Soul lock fucks the hell out of the security system. Some doors are forced open, some things are overcome, and the final door to the lab opens with the hiss of changing air pressure. The air is warm and humid and a little coppery, as if there is a profound amount of meat and viscera open to the air. It also has, some bowely smells, some biley smells. It's not just meat. Its entire bodies are open air. Free range organs, one could say.
Do we see them immediately? The bodies?
You do see something that's kind of body shaped. It's like wearing all of the safety equipment, and it's absolutely sprawled out, one hand reaching towards the door, like absolutely collapsed and climbed and like crawled a couple steps trying to get to the door. But it's also strangely deflated. There's not enough volume in the suit. And the lighting is a little dark, and you think you can see some kind of like mucus trails, like leading out of the legs of the suit, as if something has forced itself through the ankle seals.
I see.
Okay. So in here, there are 2 additional things that we need to grab, if I remember correctly.
Yes, 2 extremely high storage data cores.
Yes. So data cores.
So this is not your first recovery rodeo. Typically, there's going to be a data core on what you guys would call the boring. Oh my goodness, the boring side of the lab, where there's like people with droppers and microscopes and computers and like gene sequencers, and on a scientific level, it's very exciting. But for you folks, it's not very exciting. It's like, this is where they do the boring stuff that makes the exciting stuff happen. But usually there's some kind of a data storage there, because a lot of those machines are high data use machines.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't want to be moving that data around as much as you need to. You can secure it. So there should be a data core in the boring lab. And then usually there's also a data core in the exciting lab, where the actual poisons and toxins and drugs and monsters and mutants and marvels, oh my, are made, produced, vivisected, or duplicated, or all of them. So
home sweet home.
Yes.
Let's do the boring first.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, on our way to the boring side, though, you said that there is the smell of meat. Does any of that meat look vaguely edible?
I'll tell you when you see it.
Okay, great.
Right
because
now,
I am on the lookout. Like, I can smell that meat. I know it's somewhere.
Oh no, it's the
I
meat
want
sweats.
a handful.
Yeah.
I have the meat sweats.
As you guys walk past this first body, there's an extremely uncomfortable kind of used condom vibe to it.
Ugh.
Kind of slick and wrinkly. It is deeply, deeply unwelcome.
God, that's such a perfect now. used condom, but I would tie off the knot and just kind of toss it wherever.
There was no knot to be tied, as it looks like whatever was inside is now outside.
Yeah, they used that and left.
Yep. Like there's some
Slithered
bones
off
in there
that
still.
direction.
There's some bones. There's probably some skin. There's like some amount of volume remaining in it,
Is
but
there any
it's not
brain?
enough. Yes.
I was gonna say, oh, we'll pop open that. We'll pop open
Okay.
that suit. Even if it's just a bone to chew on, I'll take a rib.
I would like to consume.
Okay. Brain eating, one of my favorite Fomori talents.
So that is a dexterity athletics roll for me, which will be 1, 2.
Oh no, you can touch the target. The target, you don't. That's your attack roll. They're dead. You can touch them
mid-combat.
Oh, it's just if they're alive.
Oh my god.
Intelligence plus occult. Yeah, you can eat brains in the midst of combat. So what you're going to want to do is roll intelligence plus occult. Do you need me to roll that?
Yes, please.
Okay, happily. Onyx, intelligence plus occult. So 4 plus 5. Man, isn't it going to be super exciting in like a year and a half when Adam beats the fuck out of us with these guys?
Oh, I'm looking forward to it. I just hope that by that point, Olivia is able to beat a Fomori on her own, one single Fomori by her lonely.
Oh, that's
not that I'm salty about those dice rolls, but
okay,
I'm salty about that dice roll.
So the difficulty on this roll is, I just need to contextualize these dice. It's difficulty 6. They can resist with willpower, which means that typically in a normal situation, they would also be rolling dice and reducing the number of successes that you get. However, because we also zhuzhed up this power with a little bit of memory stealing, you got 10 successes. Because I rolled 4 10s and 2
pull
7s.
It out like
wonderful.
A perfect walnut half.
Which is
like the whole
hilarious.
Thing. A little bit of brain him.
Yeah.
I can't do it with the fangs.
Yes. Okay. So just quickly, how do you eat brains? Like, is there dignity? Do you take little bites? Do you just like?
I would say that this is a particularly horrific experience to witness.
Absolutely.
They will like lift the skull on their face just enough for like a gaping bloody hole to open up that they just shove the brains into.
Okay.
You like if you manage to see inside of that hole, it just looks like blood and blackness.
Yeah.
It's Satan's trash disposal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's really good way to describe it.
Those Project Odyssey critters are on the fuck
Yikes.
It almost also seems like maybe their jaw is unhinging with how large the hole becomes, but
is it all white?
Oh. Hello.
Oh, we got some lag. Do we still have you?
I'm still here. I'm waiting for everybody to catch up, or me to catch up to everybody else.
Okay.
I can hear.
Okay, now we're all moving. Y'all are at least moving for me, I hope. Oh, yes.
Apology. The Weaver was displeased momentarily. That's what happens when you insult when you insult the Adanasi enough. The Weaver goes,
right.
Hey.
Heard you was talking shit.
Am I back?
You're talking shit like I wouldn't find out.
Am I back?
Yes.
Okay, sweet. I didn't hear what Caroline said.
Do you eat the brain all in one bite?
Yes.
Oh, perfect.
Okay.
You horrible monster. I love it.
Brought to you by Pentax and Nathan's Hot Dog Company.
And the 2020 5K fun run. It was held in June.
Good Lord. Okay, so what memories do I get from this delicious?
All of them? I mean, that's 10 successes. That's essentially as high as you can go in the system.
Okay,
so,
yeah, true. So I would like important details of the last moments of their life.
Okay.
And yeah.
You get some information about what they're doing here. However, you feel that both for narrative purposes and for them to understand it, they'll need to see the machines that were being used. So we'll just sit on that data for a little bit. The last moments of their life was a astoundingly horrific experience, as they actively felt things inside their body like moving and writhing around. Like they could actually feel things like crawling between their intestines. And like something actually like going between the muscle wall of their stomach and the skin, kind of like an ambulatory hiatal hernia.
Absolutely beautiful, stunning.
Oh my god.
I love these visuals.
I'm here to help.
Onyx will and then make their way toward, without saying anything else, towards one of the labs.
Okay. The lab that makes sense of what the hell they were doing is the exciting lab.
We go to the boring one first.
Okay.
I think that's what we decided.
Yeah.
Yes. And just to finish up, they are absolutely killed by whatever's crawling around inside them. And their last memories are not just of just like pain and horror, but of betrayal, of how did this happen, like what, and what's really scary. And remember, aside, Pentax is a terrible company.
Yeah.
They are awful, evil, vile people that perform both to their customers and their employees every possible mental and emotional trauma and manipulation that mankind and spiritual evil can come up with. So the probably all too familiar sense of why am I being hurt this bad, and what did I do to deserve it, is one, like, there's a lot of it's horror, there's confusion, there's a sense of violation because there's things crawling around inside their body and they apparently know what they are, and it's incredibly unpleasant.
Onyx recognizes the feelings and emotions, but does not resonate with them.
Okay. Very disassociated. Okay.
Understands on a logical level what they are and what has happened, but is not very emotionally phased.
Okay. It's this. One can only imagine the kind of memories that Onyx has either consumed or stolen in their lifetime. Like, all right. So the boring chemistry is exactly what I described earlier. It's pipettes, it's labs, it's centrifuges, it's freezers, it's refrigerators, it's workstations. It is absolutely the data core is right over there. It's easily grabbed, easy to pull. However, as you guys start going into the room and kind of fanning out and looking around and taking stock, you hear what starts to sound like dripping water, then increases in viscosity until it's kind of a wet, puddingy, ploppy noise that then intensifies up to there being solids in whatever's splattering onto the floor.
Oh.
And crawling up and around some of the equipment, oozing between... Did I lose everybody? I think we started getting some stuff.
We're still here.
Okay. I think Megan froze. That's what it is.
I didn't.
I was frozen in like rapt horror. Like, please go on, but please.
Then I'll get back to it. Because I can't repeat myself when I do this shit, so I want to make sure it works the first time. And crawling like through the vials and things and kind of oozing around in extremely unpleasant ways are organs. Like, you see kidneys and livers and stomachs and gallbladders, but they're encased in what looks like just kind of like undifferentiated tissue.
Oh my god. It was the organs that crawled out of the guy's body?
Yeah.
Oh my god! But hey, meat.
This song has restored my strength.
Give me some of that fresh liver.
Okay. And then it actually gets worse.
Of course it does.
So, they're like football size generally. Even if the organs are smaller, it's just like the amount of like a non-differentiated tissue that surrounds them and kind of just gives them kind of a blobby sort of vibe. And then one of them that's kind of that you get clever girled 342 by one of these things that's kind of over here. And when you realize it's there, it splits in half. And a full front to back set of like snarling wolf teeth
they
come out of this thing. And you have it's etched in your mind. This is obviously a moment of horror. And so etched in your mind, have you ever seen a dog where they've got like the patchwork modeling on their gums?
Yeah.
Some of the different breeds have that.
Dark splotches on the inside. Yeah.
These teeth, the tissue that they're set in, has that canine modeling.
Why the fuck does this liver have a mouth?
You don't know why, but it's jumping at you now.
What the?
And you are all swarmed by various sizes and volumes of meat, of organs that are going to be spewing acid and trying to chew on you, and like extruding claws like gallstones and just like dragging themselves across the floor.
The fuck were they up to here?
Yeah, I know, it's a really good question. It's terrible. I came up with this myself and I'm confused.
Some steak tartare. Oh fuck! I hate the taste of. I know exactly what I want to do.
Bacon and onions. Yes, so we're going to do the same thing. We're all going to describe a probably incredibly, profoundly, deeply violent action, and then we're all going to roll dice and see how we do. So, Caroline, sounds like you've got your disaster all lined up. So, what do you want to do?
Well, first, I would like to grab one that has clever girled me. I want to grab at that one first. But before I do anything else, I am going to do the roar. I will do the roar.
Okay, the roar of the worm.
I'm going to do the roar of the worm, and then I'm going to just start chowing down on this thing before whatever other light waste. grab one first before they all start hopefully running for cover, to give us a little room to at least start upright.
Great. So, okay, so roll War of the Worm, which is charisma plus intimidation, and then also roll Dex plus Brawl. And then we'll see how those dice go. Which one of you two has your dramatic action figured out?
I think I do.
Okay, go for it.
It's pretty much the same as before. I'm gonna take my big slimy dick out and I'm gonna start smashing. Wow. I'm just gonna start flinging that shit and trying to smash, smother, destroy some of these organs.
Okay. So just a maelstrom of ick v ick.
I'm slapping.
It's slime WrestleMania.
Yes. Hot monster on monster action, covered in tar and viscera.
Yes, this is what Pentax does for Jello wrestling.
Tar wrestling is so much more fun.
That's gonna stay with me for a while. Okay, what does Onyx do in this becoming increasingly uncomfortable situation?
Well, I don't believe that they can really make them see anything.
No, they're running on not even instinct.
Right. So
remember, you also have a pistol and an assault rifle.
Yeah.
So
I'll just, the old-fashioned guns a-blazing.
Okay. Which is, there's nothing wrong with that. You guys are a paramilitary unit. You do have a unsettling amount of equipment. All of you are trained to use it, and so yeah, Onyx.
Double fisting guns, pew pew.
Okay.
Yes.
I love it. So that is Dex plus firearms.
Which is.
And then Crying Soul wants to roll Dex plus Brawl. Or I will need to, because I think I just remembered that I need to roll dice for a couple of you, which is fine.
It's for
Wits plus stealth, you gotta keep it obfuscated.
That was terrible. It is 7 dice for mine.
Okay, let's see what 7 dice mean. Difficulty 6, just for standard. Okay, you guys are really good at your jobs.
Yeah.
You are fantastic. You are like Marvel movie competent.
The reason why we've survived so long.
Yeah, okay, so 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9 successes on ectoplasmic mayhem. So lots are accomplished. Part of the thing that you have that works for you is your tar body is the protective layer of oobleck that you have. These things are like, we're going to attack you and latch onto you and grow various like grinding, biting bits and try to get into your flesh. It's just like, and it just doesn't work. Like every time they try to take a chunk out of you, they just bite off a half a cup of tar and just fall off. So
I am the epitome of don't put it in your mouth.
Yes.
Don't put it in your mouth.
I had a very coarse machine shop trainer years ago whose line every time we were learning about a new chemical was, don't eat it, don't drink it, don't rub it on your dick.
Gets the point across.
Great advice.
Terrible person. Had some. Okay, so how many dice are we rolling for Onyx to do?
Shame.
I believe it's only 4.
It is only 4. But the difficulty is like super low, so.
I guess the question is would you have loaded the normal?
Yeah, regular, silver, or essentially worm taint rounds.
Oh.
Oh yeah, we do have some of those too.
I mean, these don't really seem like they call for silver.
Yeah, just I suppose normal rounds.
Okay. So just to give you guys some information, and because I'm a huge ass like world lore nerd, like tell me about the little shit. This is a PX. It's actually in the book. It's hysterical. This is a PX 66F assault rifle. And what's interesting about these weapons is that their entire grip system is modular. So if you have 3 fingers and they're 5 times bigger around than a normal finger, they have a grip available for you. Ooh.
Sorry about that. My internet sneezed.
It's okay. Yes, that's not the internet's. It's there we go. That's why we pay Curtis the big bucks.
The bucks.
Yes. Please go on, support the Patreon. The people who make mistakes like that fixed in 15 seconds or less do this essentially for free, and we'd like to we'd like to let them do it for slightly more than free. So if you can contribute, we'd all really appreciate it. Yes. So 3 successes, however, is still a good, like, that's a quality roll. And so you essentially shoot, I'm so sorry for this, you shoot meat skeet.
Amazing. Thank you.
Just like training back at the facility.
You absolutely think that they didn't launch chickens with the skeet catapult for first team people to shoot down?
I hoped they did.
You gotta get used to moving targets, people. Pakak! Flink!
Pull.
The best kind of training.
Sorry, hold on. Pull it.
Oh my god.
Yes.
That's a chicken pun.
We are absolutely terrible people. I love it. Okay. And with that swirling maelstrom of fleshy hell, the boring lab has been resolved. Air quotes. At the very least, there are no more active threats. So, yay, I guess. You guys rolled so well, and also we are approaching kind of the end of our time, and I want to make sure that we can have enough time to be absolutely terrible in the exciting lab. So, yeah, you all suffer some completely superficial wounds that don't need to be tracked, but some bite marks, some scratches, some shockingly acidic, organ secretions as you shot something, it kind of exploded at you more than you wanted it to. It was generally a bad time. Yes. So
got 6 successes on that roar of the worm. For anything else outside of the boring lab that may have heard me, just for Storyteller's reference.
Yes. When you do roar of the worm, so first of all, when you roar, several of these little like organ monsters, like essentially like 9 Inch Nails video away. But absolutely, when you roar, something else roars back.
Well, they know they're here.
Yes,
Looks
they
like
super
we
duper do.
have company other than the squishy bits.
Yep. Well, Onyx, regrettably, it's about time for us to share with them what exactly the fuck they were doing in here. That means
Onyx
I need to find
just like sighs in the direction and like starts making their way that way, and it's just like, well, you wanted to see what was inside the brain. Here we go.
Yep. On to the exciting lab. All right. Well, I don't know where that page went, so I get to improvise. Cool.
As far as heart meat goes, one bad. The organs,
right.
heart meat.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually made heart bulgogi once, and it was really good.
Oh man. Deer heart, slow roasted, and then you slice it up, fry it in bacon fat.
The first thing that tells you that something is super duper wrong, or that what's inside this lab is going to be a real challenge, is the fact that there is a March Madness style like score grid with team names and organs as the X and Y on the chart, and times as the connecting point. And there's like record this week, record this month, record like forever, like best record. And it looks like the faster the better. So whatever is happening in here, they want it to happen extremely fast.
God. They really are just growing the organs inside of their employees and then harvesting them. Or maybe they're getting maybe they're harvesting themselves.
It's actually worse than that. I can't wait for you to find out.
Oh
and it
God.
So there are essentially two entrances and exits. One is for people-shaped things, and the other one is for organ transport cooler-shaped things. And there's all kinds of like cryogenics, liquid nitrogen in use, do not puncture, contents under pressure, like all of that medical / scientific mumbo jumbo that Ben doesn't know, that talks about keeping organs safe for transport, and everything else is over there. And there is a stack, and by a stack I mean like a person high stack of organ transport containers, all nice and extruded. They're very Apple looking, lots of nice smooth white plastic with beveled edges, very nice little clicky flippy lids, but they all have branding on them and instructions and all of that stuff. But most of them have been tipped over and are open and kind of have like slime trails leading out of them. So it looks like what happened is that the cryogenics failed, and all of the organs that were climbing around inside the lab were originally here.
Ooh.
Gross.
Yeah, super gross. Okay, let's get to the worst part. Opening, there's a surgery suite. So there's a wash up room, and then there's and there are some safety posters that are clearly custom. Have you ever seen, like, you've seen the beautiful, perfectly made like corporate safety posters where everything is perfect, the font is perfect, it's printed on super high quality glossy paper? These are clearly like printed at the workplace printer. Like, they're not as glossy, the Photoshop is a little shaky. The stock photo that they used for this piece could have had more pixels in it, because when it's zoomed up to a poster size, it's a little fuzzy. But it says, remember, organ sources are dangerous even when sedated. Always use your safety manual.
Organ sources.
Vivisection.
Remember, fast and wrong is no good. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast.
Smooth is fast. God damn, I hate that saying, but it's true.
Charming.
Reminds me of home.
Yeah, kind of, sort of. I mean, these are
earliest
the people,
memories.
Yeah, these are the people that made all of you. Like this is the same company.
It
They
even
probably made
smells
this.
like my growing vat.
Yes. I mean, like there's a
Mm.
very real chance that the machine shop that made the physical tools that made you all what you are was the same machine shop that made these items.
Great.
I know we didn't get the order to destroy the place, but somehow I think it might be necessary.
Well, yeah, you can destroy it and piss off Harold Zettler, the director of special projects, and never have a good day in your entire life ever again.
I mean, I think it's safe to say after the boring part of the lab, we did, I did resist to eat all of the organs. I do have some samples.
Yes. And you might be able to find some in here. It looks like this is the primary source of the cryogenics. So you might get lucky.
Well, whatever that organ source is probably in here. I try and roar for it again.
Depending on what happens, they did say that they would love it if we could recover any specimens or any.
No, but they didn't say it had to be alive. They could be a wet specimen. They're plenty happy with wet specimens.
Her.
I wasn't 342. You could call me wet specimen. All right, let's go.
The doors open, and you are presented with a delight. Let's work our way from the edges of the room in. At the edges of the room are husks of the same variety as the one you found in the hallway. Some of them are in positions of pain. There are several of them that are clearly like around the door, clawing at the door, trying to get out. All of them seem to have been that same emptied out sort of thing. However, on several of these specimens, there are also what could only be described far too clinically as entrance wounds. So fleshy, terrible, toothy things have climbed into the facility, the members of the facility, and chewed them up and then climbed back out, leaving them emptied, now kind of dry husks. Towards the middle of the room, there are literal gut piles of organs that are kind of quivering. If you imagine like the snake mating balls, but made entirely out of meat.
Oh my. Delicious.
That's kind of the vibe. And in the middle of the room, causing you a profound startle reflex before the rest of what you're seeing kicks in, is a motherfucking werewolf in full Krynos. This is full 9.5 foot tall furry killing machine werewolf in restraints.
Well,
with
how's that ketamine?
With big, thick, gross, like port implants.
Oh.
Like on its neck and its armpit, down along its pelvis. It looks like it's been cathetered. Now you know where all the fentanyl was going.
Yep.
And around this, for the sake of the audience, I'm going to say victim, but the relationship that first teams have with werewolves is a lot more violent and complex. Surrounding the subject is a astounding array of armatures. a bunch of articulated arms and claws and saws and suckers and nippers and sewers and like laser cutters and cauterizers and this, that, and the other thing. It's like someone has made a mandala of surgical horror and put a werewolf in the middle of it. Like the level of ungood this is like borders on a spiritual level.
God.
Oh my god. Because they can regenerate, they can just keep harvesting and keep harvesting.
Keep harvesting. But then, not just that, they're putting those harvested organs in their employees. Are regenerating and creating teratosomes, that are then eating their way out of their employees. Out of character, this poor fuck.
Yes.
In character, Mother, is that you? Not the dog. Whoever cooked this idea up. Well, let's get some samples, because the samples here might be different from the sample organs. Let's just make sure this dog is also nice and sedated. Well, I don't know dosage, but I'll measure out probably a couple horses worth.
Okay, slow down for a minute. Take a pause. My internet's being slow. I want to see if it can catch up. Everybody, like, wiggle your hands and let me know. All right, fine. As soon as I said I wanted it to catch up, it did. Okay. And it's not very useful, but obedient.
That's all I can ask for.
Yeah, so you're going to pump the Garu full of fentanyl?
Ketamine. We're gonna put this dog in a K-hole.
Okay, that's fine. As you start getting closer, you kind of you find the thing, you find the drug dispenser. Everything here is automated. So there's a couple of there is literally video game controllers hooked up to some of these things.
Oh.
And the context for the time board now makes sense, because it takes like 5 people to do all of the things that need to happen at once. None of it can be automated, but they regenerate.
It's a best time.
So you have to be able to vivisect the creature, remove the organ, and then close them back up fast enough for their regeneration to not start closing the wound on you.
Yeah.
And you can't use silver, because that would burn the product. So this werewolf has been vivisected several hundred times.
Ooh. Puppy. Caroline is sad for the puppy.
I know.
Yeah, that's well, about to get a little bit sadder, because as you get closer and start kind of trying to get a dosage to start, its eyes open. Because it's been 13 hours.
Shit.
I assume we've been watching this process. Can I, when I see its eyes open, can I use my eyes of the worm on it?
Oh.
You know what? I wanted this to be a big dice again, but it's also 10 minutes to midnight on the East Coast. So yes, let's see if eyes of the worm. Yeah. So make eye contact with the traumatized werewolf and headfuck it into oblivion so that your coworker can ketamine it into unconsciousness.
Just call us the police.
What a beautiful sentence.
I hope somebody's making clips. I feel like
please do.
There have been plenty of instances.
I would like to look this dog in its eyes and make it heal.
Oh.
Okay, an opponent who looks the freak in the eyes must make a willpower roll difficulty 8 or remain immobilized in horror for 5 turns minus wits. I'm going to say that this creature probably is going to have some negatives on its willpower on account of the vivisection, on account of the Prometheus LARP.
Yeah.
And it gets no successes.
Oof.
Yeah, big oof. So
listen, as long as it doesn't slip sideways, we are okay. If this shit gets loose.
So how do your Eyes of the Worm work? Like what's the vibe that you do? Like do you trap, like do they gaze into the abyss? Do you hypnotoad them?
I'd like to say that I just hold them in a very deep gaze, and they do gaze into the abyss, and it just they see the blackness in my eyes, and then the blackness just goes deeper and deeper and deeper until it fades into nothing but blackness, and they just stand there lost in the abyss.
And I know what part of Malphaeus your eyes are a hole to, which is the best. Yes. And it stares into your eyes, and these are the foe. Okay, these are not just terrible, horrible werewolves, but these are agents of destruction. They are impediments to the progress of mankind. They are rural mystic mutants who are dedicated to ancient, forgotten, fading religions, who will not get with the times, who do not understand what Pentax wants to do. This is what they've said to you for your entire lives. And these are the biggest challenge to you and your masters achieving their long-term eternal goals of the way they sell it is essentially we're going to bootstrap humanity and we're going to do it with the worm. So this creature, I mean, you guys are immediately throw down on the word go in opposition. And so when this creature looks you in the eyes and is so traumatized and so damaged that you can actually see stress release in its jaw and neck and chest as you take its mind away from its body.
Oh, that's so sad. Don't make me cry.
This is why.
Damn.
And then the ketamine hits.
And
then the ketamine hits. And it goes very, very, very much to sleep. And you can pull the data core because it's right from the back of the evil machine of arachnid vivisection. Yeah.
Apt.
But the question I have for you, Epsilon 55, is was this werewolf dead when you found him?
No.
You sure?
Definitely yes.
I don't know. They wanted a source. They wanted something.
I'm gonna make him dead. They didn't ask for a live source.
But remember,
oh no, didn't
remember what?
Oh no, Ben.
Remember what?
Ben, come back.
Ah! Oh my god, that's the worst.
Come back. Baby, come back. You can blame it on me. Literally, you guys can blame it on me. I'm this motherfucker.
Benjamin.
Oh,
Hello.
what up? Please use
We'll never know.
But okay, great. This minor interruption is brought to you by Pentax and their 2020, 2021, and 2022 5K, 10K, 15K fun run. Not a fundraiser. You do have to pay to this fun run. So if you're interested, please visit pentax.gov. Not a real website.
I like that Caroline has also frozen, except for her voice.
Yep.
Oh. Well, I'm glad the dulcet tones of my voice are still joining us. I guess we'll just add this. His partner made him at the beginning of the Panini in June of 2020 a 2020 Pentax fun run, like t-shirt backer, like sponsors, and it's like, yeah, Pentax would in the middle of a terrible Panini have a 5K fun run and like a picnic in the middle of a Panini.
I don't know if this is because you were breaking up, but where did that come from?
Oh, Matt Webb has a shirt that says Pentax 2020 company picnic and 5K fun run.
Oh my God,
and on the back is a bunch of sponsors from the beginning of the Panini. His partner, his significant other, made him a shirt because Pentax is the kind of company that would have a 5K fun run, 2 in the middle of a fucking Panini.
That is incredible.
Yeah, any objections of me killing this dog? This proverbial proverbial dog, this werewolf?
Supposed to remember first.
Oh, I know. That's true. That's true. I really do think it was that we were not asked in so many words to bring it back alive. I'm sure they would be thankful, I'm sure. But if we're not going to make this thing into a black spiral dancer, then what's the point, you know?
Well, I feel like, you know, if we have a werewolf and we're like potentially getting something out of it, I mean, obviously it went wrong this time, but yeah. I mean, who's to say we can't, or they can't try it again and see?
Well, they could also get another werewolf. Well, those things are a dime a dozen, fucking fortunately.
That's true. They do have a specific thing where they are supposed to.
We have you again. We have 2 of you.
Yeah.
So what are we supposed to remember?
Yeah. Okay. Apparently, at exactly midnight, my internet decided to reconfigure itself.
Shit.
Because it just told me, like, you have to go here and do this, and we won't even get on Facebook, so fuck you, buddy. Anyway, so remember, the biggest of motherfuckers, top of your own personal food chains, and the kind of creature who can make or break a first team. Wants the best possible result from this. So, are you willing to send this werewolf to forever hell in exchange for your own advancement?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
You know,
that's what I figured. I just wanted to ask.
I need to roll a die. If it is odd, the answer is no.
Okay.
Because there might be a person somewhere under here. Yep. Fine. The dog can live.
Okay.
Oh, you mean die?
Fine.
Wait, live.
No, he wanted the best possible outcome, which means he wants this dog alive. Like, I personally would love to have this dog.
Man, it just does not want us to finish this game. I guess we have to eventually.
Oh no, we'll have to play again. Oh no, how terrible. We can't finish the adventure tonight. Now we have to have a whole other extra adventure to fill up that whole extra time slot where we all go, where we have to then have the whole trip back to our holding facility and then our actual R&R, right? Oh no, how terrible of that to happen, be a thing.
Oh, and there.
Okay. We've got you.
Oh.
Okay. So I don't know what the fuck is going on with my internet.
Okay, we'll make it fast.
You send the werewolf to Zettler?
Well, yeah, if the best possible outcome and he wants the dog, if he wants the dog alive, we'll keep the dog alive. If he just wants the werewolf, we'll just fucking put it in a plastic bag.
Oh no, he wanted everything possible.
Yeah.
Because after all, well, you guys don't know what Zettler is, so.
No, but all I know is that the whatever person used to be inside 342 just dies a little bit more.
No.
Because I get to have meat with an A. Oh no, did we lose him again?
Jesus.
Put it in the chat! If he's in the chat. We have displeased the Weavers so greatly tonight.
Well, you know,
we all get promoted and then we get a super fun vacation where we get to prance around on the beach.
And we get actual sunlight if we want it.
Onyx gets to eat.
Oh. Okay. We
to join on your phone.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, you're muted.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. Oh, he is muted. That's right. Okay.
You are muted, Ben, but if you can hear us, we keep the werewolf alive.
Great. There we go. We've solved a majority of our problems. Okay. So you keep the werewolf alive, and yeah. So you contact your handlers, and about an hour after that, a very big, very intense collection of people and things comes to empty the lab and take things away. And the werewolf, aka your ticket to the big times, is resedated and taken away. And your handler, your mission leader, however you want to call him, comes in and inspects everything, tells you all that you did a good job, and then says, well, I put in my preliminary report, already getting some responses. Looks like you guys made a bunch of good choices tonight. So what do you say we get you back on a plane and get you back in that spa or wherever the hell you were, huh?
It would be appreciated.
Great. All right. Good shot. Good job, Epsilon 55. No notes. And Zettler's about 5'8", blonde hair, brown eyes, vampire. So if you happen to run into one of those who suddenly likes you, it's probably him.
Oh. Are we going to tell him about the spider?
Oh. Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
I say in front of our handler.
No.
We'll tell you about it on the way.
Yeah, you really a lot are. Fucking spiders.
Fucking spider. God damn it.
Fucking spiders. All right, and I think on fucking
One of the
spiders.
spiders out of my mouth.
And I think on fucking spiders, we're going to draw a line under this little one shot. Especially because my internet's being such a sumbitch.
Tie it with a bow.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Oh no.
That's fine. Tie it with a bow. Yeah. So.
We did it.
We did it. Which is absolutely hysterical because the exact same problem happened on the first game of Wrath and Tears. So, you know, I've got no idea what the hell is like. I don't know. It's scared of change, like me. So we'll do a wrap up quickly, and then we'll let everybody, including ourselves, take the top layer off and go to bed. But so, introduction to the Team Evil. What did you think? Did you have fun?
Oh, yes.
Good.
That was a blast. Thank you very, very, very much.
Good. I'm glad it was a blast. That was really fun for me too. It's always sometimes like Freak Legion stories are the best stories for just like cutting loose and just being weird and crazy and gross. So I like being weird, crazy, and gross.
And we lost Ty.
Their internet.
Yep. Their internet died.
Yeah, I think that.
It's a sign.
There's pattern spiders in the web, guys. So
I told you, we pissed off the Weaver. Clearly, the spider was not one who served the wild, but one who served the Weaver. And in killing and or eating all of the pattern spiders, we have upset the pattern of the weave.
Well.
Oh no.
All right. Well.
Oh, thank God! I thought we lost you again.
We're gonna add that to the blooper reel, and I think we're gonna say goodnight before one of us drops again. So, thanks a lot for coming out. Thanks a lot for sitting through the higgledy-piggledy that my internet decided to provide. I want to thank these three lovely people for going absolutely like honey-baked ham on costuming and everything else for a one-shot. That's fun. It means a lot to me. And so, yep. So you may see these people again. You may not. No promises. And I want to thank Curtis also for making a bunch of shit that went wrong go wrong.
Thank you, Curtis.
So,
you're amazing.
Yeah.
Oh.
The big reveal.
Yeah, I think we're done.
Hi, folks. It's BenTellsHorrorStories here. Now, if you were watching the first team Pentax one-shot that we did on April 1st, 2022, if you were watching the raw saved Twitch stream, you will notice that towards the end of the game, everyone's internet started acting contrary. And that meant that some of the final moments of discussion, decision, and exposition didn't really work in any way that we liked. So here I am, a couple of days later, here to kind of give you some sense of this and to tack this onto the end of the YouTube video for maybe a little bit of make it more understandable, frankly. Okay. So what had happened in the last few moments before the Weaver started attacking the server directly was that Epsilon 55, the first team, had encountered a werewolf that was being systematically tortured and vivisected as a single creature organ farm for use in profoundly unhumanitarian purposes. And they were faced with what was essentially the final choice. So that choice was a binary one, and choice one was to euthanize this werewolf simply out of some shred of humanity, or to preserve its dignity, or just because they found the actions repulsive. The other option was to save the werewolf and damn it to a near eternity of endless Prometheus-esque regeneration and excruciation. Why did they pick the second choice? Well, one, because they're monsters, and because that's part of Pentax. Is that part of the storyline of Pentax is that pretty much everyone from the top down is a monster, or as close to an innocent victim as possible. You're either a stooge or a serpent. So they made the choice that was appropriate for the characters, and I was here for it. The other thing that I commented on a couple of times, and I think I'm going to add a little bit of context for this, was talking about someone named Director Zettler. Now, Pentax as a company is a great big terrifying agglomeration of things. If you look up any of those, like who are you really buying from, who is the parent company, or what does Nestle actually own, or several other companies, they have these now. You'll see that there is a company up top that you've essentially never heard of before, and then a bunch of brands that you recognize. Pentax has a chart like that. At the top is Pentax, and throughout it are several other brands, subsidiaries, and a number of other things. At the very top of the Pentax pyramid of power is a group, well, it's accurate enough, is a group of people called the Board of Directors. Pentax at this level is structured pretty much like any other terrifying, monolithic, soulless, multi-trillion-dollar corporation. And each of these directors, most of these directors, have a certain division or a something or other that they are generally in charge of overseeing. Director Zettler is in charge of special projects. Special projects covers all of the most oogie-boogie weird stuff. So, lots of Fomori creation, various projects, lots of the directly supernatural things are overseen by Zettler at a very high level. Now, every single one? No, but he's kind of at the top of many pyramids, of many structures. And so, at the end of the day, the first team reports to their managerial staff. Their managerial staff reports to other managerial staff, reports to a district manager, reports to a region manager, If you've ever lived inside corporate hell, I'm sure that even right now, whatever org chart you had to wrangle with is running through your head. And at the end of the day, that org chart, the cream, or the shit, bubbles to the top, and at the top is Harold Zettler, head of special projects. And essentially, Harold Zettler responds to the CEO of the company and the worm. That's it. That's his org chart is like 2 steps. So he is a terrifyingly powerful individual who essentially can lengthen or shorten the lives of Epsilon 55 in whatever way his capriciousness sees fit. Is he capricious? Absolutely. If you want to know why he's capricious, look him up on a wiki. If you want to keep the secret later so I can scare the hell out of you with it, don't. Pentax is a very complicated and terrifying part of the Werewolf the Apocalypse world. If you want to learn more, there are several books you could look into. Of course, we're using Werewolf the 20th Anniversary Edition as the basis for not only Heritage and Honor, but Recon and Recovery. So I recommend start with the Werewolf 20th Anniversary Edition core book. There is a great overview of things. If you want to know more about my favorite, The Worm, you can look into the Book of the Worm. Bear in mind, there are 3 or 4 versions of the Book of the Worm, so make sure, if you want to make sure you get the right one, make sure it's a 20th anniversary edition one, because there's a first edition Book of the Worm, second edition Book of the Worm, a revised edition Book of the Worm. White Wolf in the late 90s and early 2000s was second only to Magic the Gathering in terms of incomprehensible revision tracking. So make sure it's that. And if you really want to get deep into it and just get the hell scared out of you, you can look up the Pentax Employee Indoctrination Manual, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's an in-world document that's really fun and absolutely terrifying. An older book for Werewolf Revised Edition, I believe, was a book called Subsidiaries, A Guide to Pentax. Some of that information has been tweaked, adjusted, the world has been advanced in terms of timeline, but those are all great references. However, as this is a dark web story, which is Adam the Vampire Interpreter's little horror Seymour that he is feeding and growing, which I am delighted to be a part of, I recommend that you don't look at those books. If you want to be scared and terrified along with the pack from Heritage and Honor, and who knows who else might be running afoul of Pentax, keep yourself in bliss and ignorance. So, are you going to see Epsilon 55 again? I don't know. Maybe so. No promises and certainly nothing in writing. But thank you very much for listening to this, and we hope that you enjoyed the show. If you did, wherever you're watching this, can you do any little subscriptions or likes or shares or whatever else works, because the internet runs on metrics. So please help TTRP's theaters metrics in the ways that are simple and free. If you'd like to, there is a Patreon. You can get some fun stuff, and there is a Discord, and I imagine that you'll be seeing links for both of these underneath wherever I am. So thank you very much. Have a great day, and remember, safety mechanics are both for players and viewers. See you in a week.